So Catherine and I have returned back to New Zealand. So from Houston, we flew on United Airlines from Houston to Grand Cayman Airport. A relatively straightforward 3-hour flight. Customs and immigration were a breeze, and we were soon through all the formalities to meet Julian and Catherine's sister Carol, who took us to the Sunset House. I sometimes think the Caribbean is seen as quite an elusive destination, quite difficult to get to and quite expensive. That's changed over the last few years as several North American carriers have come into the market, and Air New Zealand have introduced the route to Houston. For us it was Auckland, Houston, Caymans, pretty easy. So on our first day we did an excursion around Grand Sound. So we started off at the Cayman Yacht Club, which was very nice, surrounded by several multi-million-dollar properties. Then we headed off into a mangrove swamp, and our guide really brought this place alive. It's amazing how important mangroves are to island ecosystems. It was very fascinating. We then interacted with some starfish, which again was really interesting. Before we had a wee snorkel on the reef. I had stingray and several fish around me, so that was quite exciting for me. And then we went and visited Stingray City, where we interacted with these magnificent creatures. They kind of sidle up to you like a cat. It was a really good experience, and I'd suggest that should be first on your list if you visit the Caymans. I really like the wildlife on the Caymans. We visited the Queen Elizabeth Botanic Gardens as well, where the endangered blue iguana roams relatively freely. We came across 3 of varying sizes. The last one we came across was quite a hefty beast, so we stayed out of his way. Also, while we were there, we saw a Grand Cayman parrot. We also visited the Green Turtle Sanctuary. A lot of the Cayman's economy was based on turtles back in the day. Now they're part of an extensive conservation program, and honestly, I could watch these guys and ladies swim around for ages. They were truly fascinating. It was a great experience to be there. Probably my favourite bird that we came across on the Caymans was the frigate bird. Quite a angry looking bird, I would suggest, but fascinating to watch. And we got to feed them at a place called the Tucker Restaurant on the east end of the island. The Caymans is widely regarded in the Caribbean and North America as the culinary capital of the Caribbean. We had the opportunity to visit several restaurants. My sister-in-law Carol is a food and beverage manager, so she had all the ins and outs and all the best places to go. We experienced a whole range of food on the Cayman, starting with a chicken and pork jerk, which is served up from a roadside stand, basically smoked and cut up in front of you. That's kind of the Cayman equivalent of fish and chips. We experienced like burgers and chips, which are fantastic, at a place called the Czech Grill in Bottomtown. Then we went a little bit up market in a few places. We had lunch at a Mediterranean restaurant called Aria. We also visited Rum Point for a magnificent meal on a beautiful beach. And probably the one that topped it off was our last night in the Caymans at Morgan's. That was a top quality, very, very nice restaurant. Obviously, the Caymans has a wide range of beverages available, all the international brands, but it also has their own beer. It can only be bought on Cayman, which makes it a little bit unique. We were very, very fortunate through Carol's connections to visit the Cayman Brewery. My particular favourite was the Island Hopper IPA. So you probably think a Caribbean island is going to have the most magnificent beaches. That's true to an extent on Cayman. A lot of them are closed off to hotels and private residences. However, there was one that really stood out. Just in front of the governor's residence is a place called Governor's Beach. That was stunning, absolutely stunning, as I'm sure you'll see from the picture. I would certainly recommend visiting the Caymans if you're in the area. There are several cruise ship itineraries that feature the Caymans. If you had a day there, I would certainly highlight Stingray City as a place to visit. And why not, if you're in the vicinity, go visit Sunset House for a Malabar curry and an island hopper. Cheers.